Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, it is a beautiful late summer day here in Wisconsin. It's just gorgeous. We got a nice light breeze. It's bluebird skies. It's like 73 degrees, just perfect. I'm trying to really cherish it because it's not going to be too long here before we're sitting in cold weather and I got a jacket on. It's supposed to be in the lows this weekend. It's supposed to be low 40s. So, I mean, we definitely are getting that cooler weather sometime soon. And what that's doing is it's putting the fish in a major transition. The month of September is one of the most difficult months to fish, no matter where you're at. If you're up here in the North Country, fish are going from summer into fall mode. It happens just like that. It's really a quick transition. You know, when I say quick, it's a few weeks, right? It's the month of September. So it's just a matter of having, it's that cooler weather. As soon as it comes in and that water starts dropping, it drops quick here normally. So we have that going on. I mean, guys, if you're down in Florida, some of those fish, once you get that first cool snap in, it's like they're going to be spawning in a month or two. Like, that's how quick all this stuff happens. And if you're in the middle part of the country, you may have like 90-degree temps for the next 2 months still and be like in summer mode. So what this does is it just scatters the fish around. They go from summer haunts, some start moving shallower, some start moving deeper. It's one of those things, it's really hard to stay on top of the fish because a lot of those schools break up. You start getting roaming loner fish, you know, that are here and there, and you just kind of got to go pick them off wherever you can. And because of that, it really changes the game from a fishing style. You know, you can't necessarily go camp on one spot and beat up on one school. You got to go work for the bites. And that's what today's video is about. Today, you know, most people will come out with videos that say like the best baits for September, you know, but the issue I have with that is the best baits for somebody in Florida in September are not the best baits for me up here in Wisconsin or somebody in Tennessee. So it's one of those things where, because for me it's more based on weather transition than anything, that's what I'm going to talk about here with this bait selection. These are going to be my top 5 baits for transition fishing from summer into fall. So this period right now where fish are starting to scatter out, these are my top 5 baits, and they work around the country during this time period. For like September and October, these are going to be really good go-tos until, if you're in the North Country, they start going really deep. Or if you're in the South Country, like once they actually start getting some actual winter weather. But you've got a pretty good window here of where these transitional baits are really going to execute well. And they're going to be the ones that put a good number of fish in the boat for you. For the most part, these baits are going to be more about covering water. You know, like I said, when those schools of fish break up, and you start getting some fish that move really shallow, some fish that move deeper, some fish that stay in that mid-range, it breaks up the schools. So you get a lot of those loner fish. And by covering water, it's going to allow you to present your bait to more fish by moving quickly versus just trying to camp out on one spot. So these transitional summer to fall baits are going to be some of the ones that I have tied on for the next 4 or 5 weeks for sure. So let's get into this. First and foremost, I love a Berkley Chopo, you know, your plopper style baits, whether it's a whopper plopper or just it's honestly more about topwater baits. But the reason I love this topwater bait is because it allows me to cover so much water. It's right along the lines of a buzzbait. A buzzbait's another really good choice for this period. I just happen to like the Chopo better because I think I generate more bites with it. I like having the treble hooks, and it's something that allows me to cover a little bit more water with less effort. What I mean by that is a buzzbait can be a little bit picky at times where, you know, you get the blade stuck or you get a little bit of grass around the blades. It seems like a Chopo will run through a lot of that smoother, and it just seems to get a lot of good bites. So a Chopo or a buzzbait is a good choice to go with this transitional period. You're going to be looking at those transitional routes to fish with it. So your points, you know, some of the stretches that are going from back ends of pockets and bays and creeks to the main lake structure. So if you have a main point, the point can be great. If you have any sort of deeper contour line that swings in and hits that bank on the way out to the point, that's going to be good. Any of your transitions from grass to rock or sand to rock are going to be used as highways where the fish are going to be running along those. It comes down to fishing, you know, for the most part, I'm going to say in 10 feet of water or less, but you're looking for transitional travel routes that fish are using from summer locations to fall locations. Plus, keep in mind during this time period, the bass, no matter what species, are going to start keying in on shad, bluegill, perch, cisco, alewife, bait fish, forage species pretty heavily this time of year. And a Chopo does a great way of covering a ton of water. Like I said, top waters are huge this time of year, but if you're looking at covering the most water possible, a Chopo or a buzzbait are a great way to do that. Next up is a spinnerbait, guys. This is one of the times of years where a spinnerbait just really starts to thrive. And again, it just allows you to cover a lot of water, key in on those same sort of bait fish that the bass are feeding on. A lot of times at this time of year, no matter where you're at, you do have some fish that start pushing up into the backs of creeks because that's where a lot of bait is. So if you've got, you know, some pieces of wood that are on a shallow flat, maybe you've got some isolated rocks, you know, maybe you've got some isolated grass clumps, a spinnerbait is a great way to generate strikes in those areas. It's a really good late summer to fall bait, and it works great during this transitional period. This is one of my favorites, and you'll see here a lot of the colors I'm choosing are all based on shad type colors. This is a War Eagle, and I think they're sexy shad color. I'll put the links to all these in the video description so you can check them out if you'd like to. So that's my second go-to bait. My third is going to be a lipless crankbait like this Berkley War Pig. This is one of my go-to lipless baits. And again, it's all about covering water this time of year. And a lipless bait allows you to do that. You can cover a foot of water to fish it all the way out to 15 feet of water. So it's versatile and it allows you to fish a lot of different depths. But you're covering that water, you're mimicking the size of the bait that you're trying to replicate, and the fish just seem to eat them really well. For me, a lipless thrives in the earliest part of the spring, the pre-spawn period, and it really starts to shine again in the fall. Again, for me, if I love to fish rivers, it's a great river bait. If you're fishing around wing dams or riffles or some rapids, it generates a lot of bites and is a very weedless bait. But it's all about fishing those flats, because a lot of times those fish will start pushing up onto some of these shallow flats, looking to start to feed up for the fall period. The lipless bait is one that will draw the attention to it. I love to fish it if you've got a little bit of that off-colored water, because it just they make so much sound and vibration that it just brings the fish into them. And if there's an active fish around, they're going to seek this bait out. Next up, I do got to have one little finesse bait. So I've got here, this is just the Z-Man Finesse TRD with a Berkley half head. This is the, what is it, an 1/8 ounce head, I believe, or a 1/10 ounce head I've got on there. What do I got on here? This is the little one. This is a 16th ounce head. The key here is I just want to have a bait that I can fish on those flats, that I can kind of pick apart some areas if I do think I've got some fish, or if I had a blow up, you know, a little Ned rig is a great bait to throw back on a missed strike, on a topwater bait. So it's something where I'm going to have a finesse bait still rigged up, because you're still going to always be able to catch fish on it. The thing I don't like to do with it is just pick it up and go down the bank, because I can't fish it fast enough and come in contact with as many fish that I can with some of these other power fishing baits. But really, it's just, you gotta have some sort of finesse bait, and I would rather throw a little Ned than say a weightless wacky rig or a drop shot this time of year. It's just a big go-to bait for me. So a little Ned, I do like the PB&J color. That's a very good one, especially up here in the North Country. If you've got smallmouth around, they seem to really enjoy that. The last bait is to have a good square bill. This is the Berkley Square Bull 7.5, which I like because it does run a little bit deeper. Again, it's just that sexy shad color, which is a great fall color. But it's more about having a bait that I can run down the bank quick. I can deflect off a rock. I can deflect off a stump. I can, you know, bring up and around through a laydown that's up on a shallow flat. It's a very good bait for coming through that cover and generating the bites. But again, it's all about covering water, because this time of year, man, it seems like those fish can just disappear on you. And it's because they're moving so fast. It's because they're spread out. There's a lot of fish in 1, 2, 3 fish groups. So they're in small little wolf packs. You're just not going to find that big school of fish most likely where you can sit and pound on them. And that's why you need some baits to cover a bunch of water like these. So guys, these are my top 5 summer to fall transition baits. I hope this was helpful. Put in the comment section what baits you like to use during this time of year so that the rest of us can learn from you as well. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Hit the like button, share it on social media, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned. We'll have another video coming out tomorrow for you.